Hi everybody, this is Jen. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to work the single crochet stitch, and this is called the single crochet stitch in the US or the UK, so it's exactly the same. In the first video I showed you how to make a chain, and in this video, like I say, I'm going to show you how to make a single crochet. So I'm using exactly the same yarn as I did in the last tutorial, the My Boshi yarn, except I'm using lime green. And for this tutorial I'm using a size 6mm clover crochet hook. This yarn does actually say that you can use a 5 or a 6, but I prefer to use a 6 just because it makes it clearer for everybody to see. Okay, so just a quick recap. I'm going to make a very quick chain as I showed you in the last video. So if you remember, we did the slip knot, and we want that on our hook, and I'm just going to chain up 15. So remember, we don't count the loop on our hook because that's our working loop, and we are yarning over and we are pulling through. We're yarning over and we're pulling through. We're yarning over and pulling through. So we have 1, 2, 3 stitches on our hook. So we're yarning over and pulling through. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, so we have our 15 chains. Now, single crochet is the smallest stitch out of all the stitches. It's a nice little tight stitch, and one of the things that I use it for, to show you these little guys again, the art of amigurumi, and it's the Japanese art of creating a knitted or a crochet stuffed toy. Now this is quite a small stitch, the single crochet, and the idea is that when it's stuffed, the stuffing doesn't show through. So anything that you see like that is known as amigurumi, and that's just the single crochet stitch. Okay, so I've got my 15 chains. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to insert my hook, the end of my hook, into the second chain from the hook. So we don't count the loop on the hook, we don't count the first one, but we are going into the second one. Okay, so into that second chain, push our hook through, and with our working yarn we hook that round from the back and we pull it through, which gives us 2 chains on our hook. We're then going to yarn over and pull through both of those chains at once. Okay, so our next stitch, we are going in, pulling our yarn through, yarning over and pulling through both. Now the reason that I like to keep my yarn here through my fingers is that when I go through to my next stitch, I can then pull through with me, which means you're doing that whole motion just in one bit, which makes it much quicker. That can take a little bit of practice, but I'm sure you will get there if you keep trying. So if you yarn over, and again, do you remember when I pulled my work down just enough to give me that little gap, and pull through. If you can't manage pulling the yarn through with you, you can just go into the stitch, pick up your working yarn round the back and pull it through, and yarn over and through too. So it really is personal preference, and you know, you are still in the beginning, so you will need to keep trying, and you'll find your way and you'll find what's most comfortable for you, and that's absolutely fine. This is just the way I do it. So I am going through, pulling my yarn through with me, yarn over and through 2. I'm going into my next stitch and pulling my yarn through, 2 on my hook, yarn over and pull through both stitches. I'm going into my next stitch and pulling through, yarn over and through 2. So I will just do those other ones for you to show you. So we are going into our next stitch, pulling our yarn through, yarn over, through 2. Into our next stitch, pulling through, yarn over, through 2. Into our next stitch, pull through, yarn over, through 2. Into our next stitch, pull through, yarn over, through 2. Into our next stitch, pull through, yarn over, through 2. Into our next stitch, pull through, yarn over, through 2. Now sometimes that last stitch can be very difficult to see, so you can just see right at the end there that I've got one more at the end. So pull through, yarn over and through. Now what we do now, so that's our first row of single crochets, isn't that cool? So what we would do now, we need to turn our work and go back the other way. So you literally just flip your work round. Okay, so if I go back again, show you. So we have just got to the end of our row and we are just going to flip our work round and go back the other way. Now we want to keep our sides as straight as possible, and the single crochet is quite a small stitch. Well, it's a very small stitch. So what we want to do, we want to just do a chain 1. Remember the chains we did in the beginning? So just 1 chain 1. The reason we do that is the height of that stitch compensates for the sides, so we want to keep them as straight as possible. So with a single crochet we would do a chain 1. If we were doing a longer stitch we would chain more, but that ensures that we keep our sides nice and straight and that we don't start to crochet up into a triangle. So I have done my chain 1 and now I am going immediately into the base of that chain 1, into that very first stitch. So you're almost forgetting that the chain 1 exists and you're just going straight in with a single crochet. Now what you'll find on this row is that when you go into the next stitch, it's a lot easier to see, but it will feel a bit thicker. You want to make sure that you're picking up both loops. If you're not sure, just turn it to the side like this. So then we yarn over and pull through, yarn over and through 2. So into our next stitch, like I say, just turn it over if you're not sure that you've got both loops, and yarn over and pull through 2. Into our next stitch, pull through, yarn over and through 2. Into our next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over through 2. To our next stitch, pull through, yarn over and through 2. So you can see from there that I've actually started on my second row and I'm about halfway along. Okay, so if I just show you one more time, we're going into that next stitch and pulling our yarn through, yarn over, through 2. Into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, through 2. Into our next stitch, pull through, yarn over, through 2. And we continue exactly the same way all the way along to the end of the row. So if I get you to the end of the row, oops, got this split there, and like I said before, sometimes at the end of the row it may feel a bit thick, and then through. Okay, so there we have 2 rows of single crochet. Now to continue on with your next row, you would do your chain 1, turn your work, and you would continue back the other way. I hope that's been helpful for you guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do post them below. and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!